Morning, welcome back to the program, and we are now joined by Dr. Angelique Coetzee.
You hear me clearly?
Dr. Angelique, can you hear me? Good morning, welcome to the program.
I can hear you, and a good morning to each and everyone.
Great stuff, nice to have you on the show. Lots going around the world, but particularly here in South Africa, lots of excitement as well, because we're now entering the second phase of the vaccine rollout. But I guess with it comes a whole host of concerns as well. One of the key concerns is the Eskom outages, which are planned, started yesterday. It's rolling out for the rest of today, and we don't know for how much longer. And I think the one key issue is the storage of certain vaccines at a particular temperature. If that is not observed, we're in big trouble.
You are absolutely correct. And remember, these sites that is supposed to roll out the the Pfizer vaccine, supposed to be accredited. It means that even if there's a power failure outage, they are supposed to have immediate backup power. Otherwise, they could not have accredited them. So we will now see, the proof always lies in the pudding, see now going forward whether this indeed is the case. These features also need a certain temperature meter that's supposed to phone you if there's a drop in temperature, or not so much a drop, it will go higher. I am worried. I'm not sure whether this is going to happen and how well these sites have been inspected. And again, only the time will teach us, as I said, in the pudding going forward, but it is a huge problem. Pfizer is an excellent vaccine, but the logistics around Pfizer might be a huge problem for a country like South Africa going forward. We all know that, we know, I'm not sure whether the media or the public out there is aware, that currently we've got a problem with Johnson & Johnson. We are facing a limited vaccine supply. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine has been put on hold at this stage because of something that happened at their plant in America, and therefore we are waiting the Bayview plant. We are waiting for, I think today is the day where the FDA approval will be given to proceed. And that's also influencing our plant in Gilberta or Port Elizabeth. And therefore, we currently actually don't have Johnson & Johnson vaccines. We only have the Pfizer. And remember
Now carry on.
Remember, the minister said last night that the Pfizer is around about 1 million doses that's going to come into, or that's in the country. The problem is 1 million doses gives you 500,000 people vaccinated. So now we're sitting with another problem. The data or the contract that was signed says 21 days. You need to get your second booster. Luckily, there's some new studies that suggest that if you can delay the second dosage of Pfizer, especially about people about 80 years of age, you can actually get better antibodies. So the dilemma that we are having is we now need to, the government needs to decide whether we can postpone the second dosage instead of 21 days up to 42 days, because we've got a lack of vaccines.
Oh, buying time, you're saying perhaps delay the vaccines. What if we don't get the second vaccines in time to do the second dosage or the second vaccination? What's going to happen if a person only gets one dose of the vaccine? Is it going to be effective at all in protecting them against the virus?
It will protect, but it won't give you the antibody titer that you want to have. So it will protect you, but we cannot say, yes, there's no vaccine, first of all, that will give you 100% protection. Remember, we are trying to get people out of hospital Therefore, we are encouraging each and everyone to register, especially above the age of 60, so that you can register, get the vaccine, and this will help with the logistics of the second vaccine to work that out. So the only study that we have is the one from England saying that above the age of 80, if they have delayed, they got about threefold antibodies after the second dosage. So you still need to have the second dosage. Unfortunately, the first one is not enough.
Okay, there seems to be real concerns around the chaotic scenes at vaccine sites over the past few days. In fact, a very close family member of mine had the terrible experience of standing in a queue or waiting in a queue for over 2 hours just to get to Mill Park to be told that, they now closed for the day. They've probably run out of vaccines. What went wrong there that we were faced with a scenario like that?
So what went wrong is exactly the same that we see right in the beginning. People didn't register, so we had a lot of what we called walk-ins, and that's why SAMA keep on warning the people above the age of 60, please don't become a walk-in. I know National Department of Health said that you can be a walk-in, but if you become a walk-in, you need to have your picnic basket with you. You need to make sure that you have enough masks, the social distancing, that you have a chair or whatever with you, because it's not going to be that easy to be just a walk-in. And that's exactly and what happened there. And we suspect that because of the system, the EVDS system, didn't pick up, again, people that was vaccinated last week was not all medical personnel or front-facing, although we are out of that, but not phase 1B medical personnel. So people are also disingenuous, and they tend to also jippo the system.
Absolutely. There's also the issue around I think we're on tenterhooks at the moment as South Africa, because we've been warned about the third wave, which is supposedly deadlier than the other, the previous wave, or so we are led to believe from what we're seeing happening in India and in South America. Your thoughts on that issue? Are we in the third wave already? Gauteng particularly have been warned about their rising numbers. Where do we sit with all of this?
You see, if you look at the data from a mathematical point of view, we're not in that yet. And I know that the premiers of certain of the provinces are saying, yes, we are in a third wave. But again, if you look at the numbers this weekend, it's both days it was under 3,000. You have to have a steady rise, and you need to have at least 6,000 per day for at least a week, so that then we can say, yes, we are in it. Yes, there are provinces which are getting higher numbers. And I just would like to say we should not use a scare tactic. We should be honest and just say, guys, please wear your mask. We see there's a rise in numbers. We don't know. We don't know whether the third wave is going to be worse than the second wave. We don't know. Anyone telling you it's going to be worse doesn't understand. There's no proof yet. And remember what happened in India, or not what happened, it's still happening. A lot of the people there also has diabetes and other diseases. And I think a lot of that is uncontrolled. So it makes it more severe. But there's still no data that says the Indian variant is a very severe variant. It's a fast spreading one, like a South African one.
Okay, so there are lots of factors to be taken in before we just accept information at face value. We need to do our homework. One other issue is, and there's lots of conspiracy theories going around as well. We are being led to believe by the UK population that once a family member has been vaccinated, they don't necessarily have to wear masks in public or whenever they're in contact with other people. What do you say to that, Dr. Angelique?
I say it's a very, very dangerous thing, because first of all, you need to make sure with antibody testing that you really have antibodies. The second thing is, how are you going to distinguish between a person who's lying and a person who's really being honest, there's no ways. And we know in South Africa that the wearing of masks and the social distancing, that I call it the mantra, is one of the best currently non-pharmaceutical ways to protect people. The jury is also still not out there whether if you had it before, whether you are still contagious to other people. We don't know. All that data is not out there. So I hope that South Africa at this stage would not make such a determination regarding masks. That would be very irresponsible.
Finally, there are a lot of naysayers, a lot of people in my own family, as a matter of fact, as well. Certain people are saying they're not going to take the vaccine. Others believe that it's going to give them some measure of protection. Those that are not going to take the vaccine are suggesting that the vaccines have been developed in a very short space of time. It hasn't been tried and tested enough, and perhaps they'll come to more harm than good. Your thoughts?
My thoughts is very, very simple on this. If you have a very good medical scheme and you've got enough money and you want to take your chance with the virus, go ahead and take your chance with the virus. Because, in the end of the day, it's your choice. But make sure that your sugar is controlled. Make sure your diabetes is controlled. Make sure your weight is under control. So if you do not take the measurements that we keep on saying, and you say, I'd rather take my chances with the virus, make sure your will is in place, make sure everyone knows what is happening, and then carry on. It's your choice.
Absolutely. Okay, let's leave it there. Thank you indeed for being with us. I have no doubt that we'll be talking with you some more in the coming days, weeks, and months. God forbid that, we just hope and pray this eventually is over, but something we're going to live with for a little while. But thank you indeed, and have a great day.
Thank you, Julie, and thank you to all your listeners out and viewers out there. Thanks.
Bye-bye.